How's it going, guys? My name is Ish and welcome back to Dueling. So in today's video, I do want to talk about some news and some interesting things that are coming up for the game. So the first thing I do want to talk about is the changes in the Forbidden and Limited list, and also the skill balance. So I'm sure you guys already know, but in case you guys didn't know, July 21st is when it takes in effect. Also, another fun fact about 21st of July is actually my birthday. So, let's start off with the Forbidden Limited list implementation details, meaning we're going to go with the cards first. So, it looks like we are going to start off with the limited one, and only one card is allowed to be used, these sorts. So we have the Type 0 Magic Crusher. We are limiting this card and using a card along with the effect to add spell cards in the graveyard to the hand allowed players to win a duel by dealing effect damage too easily. Personally, I have never seen anybody use this card. I don't even have a copy, so that's kind of weird, but Type 0 Magic Crusher pretty much does is discard one spell card from your hand and inflict 500 life points to damage to my opponent's life point. We also have Give and Take. Again, I have never seen this card being used either, but I guess it's pretty popular. It's also a normal card. It's not even a rare, secret rare, or an ultra rare, so it's pretty interesting. So basically, this card does is special summon one monster from your graveyard to your opponent's side of the field in defense position, and increase the level of one monster you control by the level of the special summon monster until the end phase. So pretty interesting card, especially when you are trying to synchro summon. Now, let's get to the good part here. We have limited 2, and only 2 cards are allowed to be used at a time when it comes down to these cards. So we have Magician's Rod. So we are limiting this card as it allows players to consistently play a combination of cards, and that would be the either Dark Magical Circle, or that could possibly be also the what was it called? The Magician Navigation. So it's actually a pretty OP card. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have come across this card before, so I'm not going to get too much into detail. Shiranui Squire. So they are limiting this card to prevent players from synchro summoning using a single card. And in my personal opinion, this card for sure is OP. Just because the amount of power that each player is able to, I guess, unleash on their opponent, because this card is just, it comes back and will not stop showing up. So it's a pretty interesting card. I'm sure you guys already know what this card is also, and I'm not going to get too much into it. Cybernetic Overflow. They are limiting this card as it allows players to consistently end duels by destroying several of their opponent's cards. So again, and I'm glad that Konami is taken into consideration about these cards, because again, these cards are a little too overpowered, and in some cases the game ends either in the second turn, which would be your opponent's turn, or and pretty much ends the entire game for everybody. I do have 6 copies of these. So basically, you banish Cyber Dragons with different levels from your hand, face of field, and or graveyard, and then destroy the equal number of cards. So if I have 3 Cyber Dragons, I get to pop 3 cards on their side of the field, easy. And then also, if this card on the field is destroyed by a card effect, I can add 1 Cyber Spell or Trap card from my deck to my hand, and then I can also pretty much use that effect to polymerization, not polymerization, I'm sorry, to fuse 1 monster. Usually it would be the Chimera Tech monsters, but yeah. And then again, you can only use this card once per turn. So I'm glad that's going down to 2. It's going to mess up a lot of people's flow, but it'll give everybody a fair chance as well to play. Dragon Unity Divine Lance. This card will be limited to prevent Dragon Unity decks from having access to generic limited 2 cards. Lunalite Crimson Fox. It's gonna mess up a lot of Lunalite decks as well with this. Now that it's being limited to 2. I think I've only seen players use 2, and so it shouldn't really affect them too much. But I'm sure you guys already know what this card does. It's basically if this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target one monster and your opponent controls, change it to attack to 0. So, and then the Kriston Impact. I've seen this card a couple of times. So basically, they get to target one banished Kriston monster and special summon it. And if you do, if your opponent controls any face-up monsters, change it to defense 2/0. And then during either player's turn, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, when your card effect is activated, the target of Kriston, target a Kriston monster you control, and then banish this card from your graveyard, and then also negate that effect. So very interesting choices. Do I agree with them? And yes, I do agree with the first 3 cards. Also the Lunalite Crimson Fox. But yeah, and then Shiranui Spectral Sword is up to 3. So the limitation of this card will be removed, as Shiranui Squire has been limited, so it'll basically be worked as a substitute to compensate for players who are using the Shiranui deck. And then no longer on the list, meaning that is no longer either limited or banned. In this case, I believe Magician of Dark Illusion was limited down to 2. Now we are allowed to play with 3. Will I add a third one? Probably not, just because I'm able to. Personally, I like to keep my Magician of Dark Illusion in the graveyard, in my deck, and that way I'm able to special summon it. But in other hands, I mean, I just can't complain about having 3, but it is what it is. So this card will be limited, or will be unlimited, as Magician's Rod has been limited to its place. Will I be running 3? Probably not. I'm probably going to be running possibly a third counter gate for my Dark Magician deck, which basically negates the attack, and if I draw into a monster, I'm able to normal summon it into either attack or defense position. Thus, it would actually still be able to trigger the effect of Dark Magical Circle. And then Amazon Princess, this card will be unlimited, as its power level is acceptable in the current metagame. So the attack is 1200 and the defense is 900. Amazon's Princess, basically what it does is this card becomes an Amazon's Queen while on the field or in the graveyard. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add one Amazon's spell or trap card from your hand to your deck to your hand. And then you can only use the effect of the Amazon's Princess once per turn. Oops, my bad. Let's see, where was that? Okay, so when this card declares an attack, you can send one other card from your hand to or field to the graveyard and special summon one Amazon's monsters from your deck in defense position, except for Amazon's Princess. So it's a pretty decent card, and for those who like to play Amazon's cards. All right. So that'll be it for that one, and then we are going to, let's go back here real fast. All right, cool. So let's check out the skill rebalancing list that is going to be in effect. So draw, sense, spell, or trap. So this skill can be given, is going to be given a harder condition to activate as having skill, and only one spell or trap card in a deck enabled players to automatically draw that spell or trap. So if I did have spells, the draw sense effect, and I only have, let's say in my case again, Necro Valley in my deck, I was able to activate that effect and then immediately draw into a Necro Valley no matter what. Cyber Style. This one, I completely agree with this with this update, just because let's see, just because the Cyber Style effect is extremely OP, and again, this card or this skill could end a duel within maybe 2 turns. depending on how the player is utilizing Cyber Style. So they are giving this skill a harder activation condition and restricting the user from fusion summoning. So it's gonna stop. So the player can activate it, but they will not be able to fusion summon into a Chimera type dragon, which is, to me, in my honest opinion, a good thing. But it's still, you can still work around it. Tuning. This skill will be strengthened to let players wield the power of Junk's Synchron decks, and then Ultimate Dragons. Since Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon has become available through level up rewards, we will strengthen the skill to compensate. So meaning that Ultimate Dragons will be they're gonna make it worth your while for you to use Ultimate Dragons, even so that Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon has become available, right? Alright, so the updated skill, Draw Sense. This skill will only activate if you begin the duel with a deck that has 3 or more spell or trap cards with different names. So you have to have 3 or more spell or trap cards with different names to activate this effect. If you only have one of a certain type of spell or trap card, it will not work. So it just gives the opponent a fair advantage, or not a fair advantage, but a fair duel when it comes down to a player activating this effect. Cyber Style, like I mentioned before, you can only use, they won't be able to special summon and then fusion on the same turn. So it's going to stop and slow down the gameplay for Cyber Dragons. I think it's going to really hurt them a lot, but I think there's still going to be people who are going to find a way around it. I'm sure going to try to find a way around it, but we'll see how that works out. Tuning, basically if you begin with a duel with 3 or more junk effect monsters in your deck, add a speed warrior from outside of your deck to your graveyard, and then this skill can be only used once per turn. So it's of course giving synchro monsters a good strong chance for those who are using the tuning effect. And then Ultimate Dragons basically can be used on turn 3 and onward by revealing 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons in your hand to your opponent, and then adding polymerization to your hand from outside of your deck. This skill can only be used once per duel. And yeah, so I think that should be all of it for now when it comes down to the skill rebalancing and also the Forbidden Unlimited list for the cards. Also, another cool thing too is an upcoming mini box. So a new mini box is being released, so let's check that out. So it looks like the deck that we are going to be receiving is Chronicles of Glory. So Stardust Chronicle Spark Dragon basically is a synchro monster that can use a tuner synchro monster and a non-tuner synchro monster as its synchro materials. So very good card when it comes down to being able to summon that card. So basically, once per turn, by banishing one synchro monster from your graveyard, this monster will be unaffected by all other card effects. So very strong. In addition, if this card is destroyed by your opponent, you can special summon a banished dragon type synchro monster. So I can see this card being used alongside with the Stardust Dragon. So everyone's going to be really happy about this one, especially for those who are using synchro decks. So yeah, we also have Coral Dragon. Once per turn, this tuner synchro monster lets you discard one card in your hand and to destroy one card on your opponent's field, as you can draw one card. If this synchro summon monster is sent to the graveyard, you can bolster your hand when you use it for another synchro summon. So if you're looking to have multiple synchro monsters on your side of the field, this is the card to get. And I can clearly see why they are using the tuning effect into a stronger way for people to use, right? So we have the Megalith Bethor, a key ritual monster for a Megalith deck, which ritual summon using monster effects. By discarding this card, you can ritual summon one Megalith ritual monster from your hand. It also has a very powerful effect that lets you destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number of ritual monsters with different names in your graveyard. So yeah, that's a pretty decent card for those who are using the Megalith. Let's see if I can read this a little closer. Right. So you can ritual this card with a Megalith card. You can discard this card. Ritual summon one Megalith ritual monster from your hand by tributing monsters from your hand or field whose total equal or exceeds its level. If this card is ritual summoned, you can target cards your opponent controls up to the number of ritual monsters with different names in your graveyard. Destroy them, and then you can only use the effect of Megalith Bethor once per turn. So that is a pretty boss monster if you guys are using a Megalith Bethor deck. Magma. Basically, when this tuner synchro monster destroys a monster by battle, you can destroy up to 2 cards on your opponent's side of the field. Everybody's going to be using this card, and I probably am going to be using this card. In addition, if this monster is destroyed by battle or your opponent's monster effect, you can add one Mathmech spell or trap card in your hand. This means you can special summon a monster from the graveyard by adding Mathmech equation to your hand. So if you are a mathematician or a math fan, this is a card for you. I'm just kidding, no. But yeah, this is a really great card. Let's see a way to summon this card. You basically need one tuner and one non-tuner monster. That's a level 2, 4, 6, 8 monster, so it shouldn't be too hard for you to summon this card. Very good card, even if you don't have a synchro deck. Just being able to synchro summon this monster onto your side of the field gives you a clear advantage. Other cards that are available are Dragon Unity Knight Luin. We also have the Nagflar Generator Boss of Fire, also the Phanon Pulse Dragon, and the UFO Turtle, the most infamous card out there. So yeah, example of combos. It gives you really great combos, so you guys can go ahead and check it out. So on this part, we actually have the total of 50 types, 3 UR cards, 10 SR cards, 17 rare cards, and 20 normal cards. So if you guys want to take the chance and check out the cards out here, make sure you guys do that. So that should be it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys like and also subscribe to my channel. Also, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. Until next time, guys, keep on dueling. Later.